Hey guys, well here's an update on the Camaro Derby car. Hey guys, Alex here with All Frame Racing, and today giving you an update on our Camaro Derby car. So we've actually ran this thing twice this year, and so they've been kind of secretive just because I didn't really know if I was going to get the thing together in time just with schedules and whatever else, but here's just a quick rundown of how things went. So we did some basic repairs to it before running it at Fulton County, which is our first run of the year. That was a few weeks back. We just put new tires on the front, well, I should say new tubes in the tires, and then went ahead and also did some body work on the back, and that was literally about it, guys. That's pretty much all we did. And got out there, made one hit, and the battery cable came apart. I couldn't find it in time, but the negative cable just basically pulled right apart, and that was it. I just sat there, and car basically took very little damage, unfortunately. So just did some more cleanup work here over the last couple days. Obviously changed the battery cables, and we went and threw this together and went up last night to the Hillsdale County Fair up in Hillsdale, Michigan. It tends to be a bit of a cleanup derby. Only been there I think once to film, but thought I'd give it a shot. Saw a lot of friends and people we knew out there, and ended up probably around, I think, 7th or 8th out of about, I think it was 18 cars, so not terrible, but they have these barriers with logs in front of them, and they're just notorious for cars getting stuck up on there, and I had a couple cars that ended up pushing me up on the logs and got a dead car stuck behind me, and there I sat and was out. But I'll tell you what, guys, after the last few hits, especially you'll see on the backside, this thing is done. It is officially time to retire this car, pull parts off. It is just not worth running again, and I'll show you all the reasons why in this video. So the easiest place to start is the front end. Very much messed up. You can see where the engine's sitting, you can see where the roof is, that's all where it's supposed to be, and let's pan down to the bumper. So if you want to reference, the center of this bumper was centered with the engine at one time when it originally started off. So this front end went from here over, so it's approximately about a foot shifted over to the passenger side. So front frame rails right in front of the struts is kinked. So the steering box is kinked, and then this frame rail is also kinked. We tried pulling it back a little bit, and it just went right back. And it's actually even worse now after this last run. So that's all really bad. I don't know if I can really get a good shot. I'm going to try to look down in here. You guys can see it's kinking pretty bad right there. You can see there's the steering, and then this is obviously supposed to be straight up in there, and then now it is not. It is obviously kinked really bad. Steering box went right with it, and same problem on this side. You can kind of see it in the video if the thing will focus in the right spot. There's a bit of a kink right in there, and then the whole thing is laying and then twisting sideways for us. So not good when it's unibody. There's really nothing I can do about that. Process has already started. Another reference is the hole in the hood was also nicely centered around the engine, and then it came so close to the header I had to actually cut it back at the last minute just to give a little more room. So yeah, that's not good. Definitely shifted quite a bit. 6 inches easily. I'd say it's closer to a foot by the time you get out to the front bumper. Unfortunately, last night we lost the tire. Took a nice hit, and it cut right in here. So it cut the tire, blew the tube. Unfortunate, but you know, it's just the nature of derby. Sometimes you lose some things, and last night we lost the tire. Did have to also reconfigure the, man, it's just muddy down here, you can't really see it, but had to reconfigure how I did the tie rods. So the stock position, we ended up with the main cross piece that, let me see if I can get it to focus here, there we are. The main cross piece that goes side to side was actually flipped the other way in stock location, and it ended up that the steering was touching the main cross support there. So I could turn, but I could not turn really sharp to the right at all. And that happened after Fulton County. I did take a wheel shot, that really kind of messed that up. So what I did was it's actually nicely even and proportional on both sides. So I went ahead and actually flipped it front to back, or you know, you could say it flipped it and rotated it 180 degrees, and then reconnected the tie rods and adjusted them to the right length, and we were in business. That gave us a lot of extra clearance that we didn't have at the steering before. So if you're ever going to run these Camaros, definitely want to check that out. You want to take that front linkage that connects the left and right together and attaches directly to the steering arm, that you flip that the opposite direction, so that way instead of kind of angling towards that cross member, it angles out. Puts a little bit of a sharper angle on your tie rods, so you do need to watch out for that, but at least it'll keep it from rubbing in the event that your front end does exactly what mine did. Body wise, same old abuse that you guys have seen in the past. The thing's been abused. Did a little bit of touch-up painting, just kind of painted the numbers to be more defined, so that way it'll be easier to see. But the back end is really the location where all the business has happened and the reason for this thing being done. Hopefully it'll translate on video here. So this thing has been folding in, you know, folding up really nice. I've been tucking the corners in. It's been folding in real good. Problem is, this thing was already kind of rusty as it was, and I made this strong by doing all that pre-bending and, you know, reforming after runs. So what it did is it went to the next weakest point, which happened to be right in front of these rear wheels, especially on the driver's side here. See if I can put the camera down underneath. You can see that is not supposed to be there. It is. We only have about an inch of clearance now from the bottom of the trailer, and it is definitely folding really hard right in that corner in front of the rear wheel. So essentially what you can envision is this thing was sitting here and then folded and pivoted right at that point, and that is now bent down, and the rear, that kind of cocked the rear end sideways, so we're dog tracking really bad. So when we try to you know, obviously drive straight, the rear end is kicked way out. When I drove it on the trailer, this thing actually did drive itself on the trailer, guys, so we got stuck on that barrier and we were able to drive it on the trailer even with the flat tire. But I was basically hugging the tire on this side, and then the rear tire on that side of the trailer was about 4 inches from falling off the trailer. So definitely no longer straight. Basically everything on this car that could bend has bent, it seems like. Show you guys kind of a little closer view up in the back end here. So you can see where we've been tucking the metal inwards, you know, trying to lay it in. Same thing with this side, just trying to lay it in, tuck it in, V'd it a little bit in the back end. But you can see where this is no longer anywhere close to where it should be, because obviously this bar was in place and stationary and hasn't moved a ton, but it has actually moved in a little bit because that's now lower in the middle. But even in this corner, you can start to see the wheel well separating because it's buckling, and this side it came way apart. So you can see this piece right here is supposed to be way back up in here, so the whole rear end on this corner is a better part of a foot farther forward than it actually is supposed to be as well. So, and these wires at one time were tight, and now there you can see there's a lot of slack. They're really loose. Even this one's loose. But that guy's really the best indicator. I had him cranked tight and he's way loose now. Getting to the point where we're actually kind of dangerously close to our gas tank. So in regards to this thing stopping when it did, it was probably good. I unfortunately took a nice hard shot to that corner last night. That corner I got hit. And then that's ultimately what ended up putting me up on the barrier, and the act of that hit is what caused that to do the final rotation. So it was just a matter of time, and I knew that. I was kind of backing into the corner and hitting with the front end to start off that last heat. You guys will see the videos here, hopefully. They may actually probably beat this video up, so you may actually see this thing running before you actually see this update. So I do apologize for that, guys. It's just been crazy busy with filming everything, and it's been hard with the weather not really cooperating either to get videos. So I want to make sure I got one tonight of seeing this thing. Metal here also was getting really tight. I did hit it back in there quite a bit, but it's just literally the rear end shifting from where it's supposed to be. Maybe I can get a quick shot before I proceed to the back of the car. You can kind of see the difference between the driver's and the passenger side. That is way messed up. The bottom pan there, you can see, is way down. The lighting's not super great, so I do apologize for that, guys. You can see where it is on that side versus this side. No good. And with it being unibody, that's about all she wrote, because everything is bent with it. There's really no good way to bend that back to where it's gonna, you know, stay put and not cause any more problems. Inside the car, not a whole lot has changed from you know, the original build videos. Obviously that door is pushed in way far, and I already showed you the back of the car here, so you can see that that's all pressed in, getting pretty close to that gas tank. And I definitely would build a protector way better than what I had to do for this one. The rules I had originally built for allowed the protector. Then when I went and read some modified rules that I was going to run this thing, I was not allowed to run the protector. That promoter has since changed that rule, but I just never bothered to change it because this thing was already looking rough at that point. Just wasn't worth it. And got a free bumper to bring home, so that was kind of cool. You know, any free scrap metal's nice, so brought that home. And yeah, that's about it from the inside. Not too much going on there, guys. This door has always been pretty messed up, pushed way in. You guys can see that, just really pushed in. They did a number on it over the last few derbies. This thing definitely looked pretty rough driving out on the track, not gonna lie, but you know, the goal was just to go out, make an appearance, and make sure people knew that we were there, and we did that, so that was good. This front corner, same sort of thing. It's just all pushed this way. This fender used to be actually with the inside of this wheel, so now you can see how far that's moved over. So the end of the bumper was at one time way out here. So the front end is really shifted. It's really not good. I'm sure the struts are also bent with it. And then the hood and everything else went for a ride, so it's a pain in the butt to lift that thing off. And quite honestly, I'm just so done with this car. So anybody that's done the math real quick from previous videos and whatever, I have ran this car 5 times. So it's been in 5 derbies. Some good luck, some bad luck. Quite honestly, I've never really had a super great run with it. It's the car that never died, but also would never run, it seems like. So, you know, it's been around, it's a little YouTube famous, so that's kind of cool. People definitely recognize the car, seeing it out at the track, and it's a little sad to see it coming to an end, you know, but at the end of the day, I think it'll be best to pull the parts off this thing the best we can, you know, motor trans and all that stuff, and then clear out some space in the shop for something new. So have a few ideas there, but that's for future videos, so you guys will have to keep checking in to see what all we build with the parts from this thing. So there you go, guys. There's an update on the Camaro Derby car before we get it off the trailer here and into the shop. If you liked the video, make sure to give us a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you've not already done so. And as always, thank you so much for watching the video. Until the next video, we'll talk to you later.